Welcome to the Profit Share Mastery Podcast with your hosts, Linda and Pres McKissack.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Profit Share Mastery Podcast, where we're focused on building wealth while changing lives. I'm Linda McKissack.
And I'm Pres McKissack.
Hey, Pres. Welcome to our very first episode of our Profit Share Mastery Podcast. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm excited. Our first one. Let's do it.
Yeah. Uno, number one, whatever it is. Hey, so let's kind of tell everyone, if we will, what our whole goal of this podcast is. For me, it's a way to bring profit share to top of mind. I think it's such a great gift that we've been giving, and we're all passionate about wealth building through as many vehicles as a person can, have the opportunity to build wealth through. And because we have been given this amazing gift through Keller Williams Profit Share program, you and I just would love to get the word out more and kind of let this be added value for our members of agents who have actually joined our Profit Share Mastery course, our online course that we recently did.
Yeah, Linda, I'd echo everything you said and just add a couple things. We talked recently about how through the profit share system, we've had 100 millionaires created. And, we went to a John Maxwell event recently, and he talked about making the pivot from success to significance. And what's exciting for me and you is like the journey for the next 100, 200, 300, however many we can get, right? We want to be on the journey and help as many people as we can make the transition to being a millionaire or more through Catered Profit Share. So I know that we can help a lot of people, and I'm excited about the journey.
Yeah, me too. And you and I just kicked off our first group call today. We launched our very first Profit Share Mastery online course, got great rave reviews. We're super pumped about that. And we had our first group call today where we answered just live questions about profit share and building relationships with other agents and doing all that stuff. And so I think that went super well today. What about you?
Well, what was exciting to me is to see how many people have already gone through our course and started taking action. Like I was really excited to see some of the people who've already, for those who are more bent towards recruiting new agents into the company, seeing what they're doing and asking great questions around how do they set up their website or talk about driving traffic to their site. And then on the flip side, we had some amazing questions being asked around licensed agents, which again, you did a masterful job answering and really helping them move the ball down the field on people that they really wanted to influence into the company.
So let's back up a little bit. I want to kind of share, how did you and I become the people that decided we're going to champion this profit share thing, and we're going to drive it home through our associates, change their lives and let them go out and change other people's lives. And, I'll start by saying, wealth building actually became a topic I was even interested in when we had an economic crash, a downturn. I always like all those things, the gradually and then suddenlies that happen in our life, right? Those are our wake up calls. Those are what shake us awake. And so with that, I think that was my first wake up call, that anything where I created cash flow was not going to be enough, that there was going to need to be something that was a wealth building, passive annuity type stream that would come no matter what happens out in the economy, whether it's COVID, a downturn in the market, what goes up must come down. So all those type situations. So I think that was kind of my first wake up call. But to be honest with you, Pres, because I wasn't with a company at the time that even had that as an option, I did the only thing I knew how to do, which was pick from the three that were available, which is stocks, real estate investing, or owning businesses. And because our economic downturn left us $600,000 in debt from a business that we had to sell short, businesses were kind of out. Don't really love to learn about stocks. And our philosophy on that is, if you don't know something about it, you're not really an investor, you're a speculator. And so that left real estate investing.
Well, and let's be clear on the stocks. We're the family that bought Facebook when it came out. And if you remember, Facebook took a hard nosedive, and then we thought that was terrible. Why did we do that? So we sold it, only to then see it skyrocket and go through the roof. So yeah, if we give you stock advice, you should probably not take it.
Yeah, exactly. So again, that left only real estate investing. And we sure enough dove into that and built a, original freedom number goal around real estate investing. And really thought that would be all we'd ever need. And fast forward, started selling real estate, making good money at that, enough money that we could eventually pay off that $600,000 in debt with the banks taking, discounted notes and things like that. And then all of a sudden I realized that there's this great gift sitting right in front of us called profit share. And that if we just woke up and treated that like a business, and I also realized that 50 more houses and 100 more houses weren't going to solve all my problems. That the day I sold my last house would be my last dollar. That was kind of my wake up call to start paying attention to profit share. And then I just went out and found, like I think everyone should do, go find the people who understand it the best and can give you a roadmap and a plan, and then just follow that roadmap and that plan until you get the results that you want. And then once you get those results, you're off and running, right? So for me, I found somebody, said, how do you make $1 million in this? And, said, tell me what to do and I'll just go do it. And that kind of became the beginning of me on my profit share journey. And fast forward, I think the number better than I do, but 13 million, isn't that the cumulative number that we've made out of Keller Williams profit share?
Yeah, you and Jim together combined have earned over 13 million in lifetime profit share.
Yeah.
And the last few years have been earning over $1 million, $1.5 million per year.
Yeah. So I don't know of too many investments out there that, the average person like myself and Jim and you and anyone else listening to this podcast can go out and have an opportunity like that, that you don't have to put any money into. You don't have to have overhead, a brick and mortar location, any of those things. And you can still build a great stream of passive income.
Yeah, it makes me laugh every time I have conversations with agents who ask, well, what's it cost to be at KW? And it always makes me pause and think. And the real answer is it depends, right? Depends on what you take advantage of. For the McKissacks, they've paid us a whole lot more than we've ever paid them, right?
Absolutely. So we started out with a freedom number, said, hey, what do we want to make from this profit share opportunity? And I just picked a big number out of the sky, $1 million, and then was challenged to go do a pro forma.
Linda, what year was that? I think it's important to note, like you started your wealth building journey early 90s, right? 91, 92?
With the real estate investing. Yeah. And it was probably more towards about 96 or 97 when I started getting focused, or 98 even maybe, on profit share. I got some profit share because I was influential in my marketplace. I was the number one agent in my area. And so obviously when I made a move, people paid attention. And because I've always been one of those people that helped other people and taught classes and tried to help other people do better, that paid off for me for having people join and name me a sponsor. But it wasn't certainly because I was focusing on it and treating like a standalone business at that time.
Right. So you start your wealth building journey early 90s. You focus on real estate, rental properties first. About 97, 98, you start waking up to this idea of, well, there's this thing called profit share. And if I gave it some focus, it maybe could actually be something.
Yeah. And it took another gradually and suddenly for me. I had a really, really bad real estate transaction, Pres. I say the kind that's so bad, you go dust off your resume and see what else you could do besides sell real estate. And I very quickly realized that resume only got me about minimum wage when I used it in the real world. And so I would better go put it back in the desk and keep selling real estate. And maybe focus a little bit more on this profit share opportunity that I had been introduced to, but had chosen to ignore. And so then I was challenged to do a pro forma on it. And that was very eye-opening for me to realize that it didn't take a lot of people to make a lot of money. And then when I really just kind of applied, Pres, my life's formula of how I've built anything in my life, which is relationships. Who do I want to be a hero to? Who do I love being in business with? Who do I love helping? Plus validity. What validity do I have to want someone to be in relationship with me like that? And then what is their value gaps? What are the holes and things that they have in their life that I can help them fill and create beholdenness and reciprocity? And then over time, because we can't make anybody do anything, and a buyer buy, seller sell, or an agent join, I can maybe help them self-discover that whatever their dreams and goals are can be better served over here at KW with their tools and their things that they have available to them.
Yes. And Linda, I just want to reiterate for everyone listening, because you're going to hear this theme as you listen through the rest of our podcast, that formula that Linda just talked about for focusing on being influential in people joining the company who are already licensed agents. That formula Linda just talked about, which is relationships plus validity plus value over time. We're going to talk about that a lot. So I just think that's something that's important to just kind of take that and write it down on a piece of paper, put it in your brain somewhere, save it for later, because you're going to hear it a lot through our podcast.
Yeah. And honestly, Press, that's the very same formula I use to build my real estate business to over 200 transactions a year. It's the same formula I used when Gary sent me to Ohio to build Keller Williams up there. It's just the only thing that I naturally know how to do. And it's not, it's not doing something to someone, it's doing something for someone, which matches all of my values and what's important to me when I'm trying to get anybody to do anything, So that's kind of was the journey. And it probably took us around to about 2010 when we probably made our first $1 million mark in KW profit share. And a lot of people find it surprising, but we only have, between Jim and I, 33 people in our front line. So we haven't gone out and recruited thousands, although thousands have been recruited, right? And so I think there's a lot of ahas around profit share that I would like for you and I to dispel some of the myths and some of the limiting beliefs and different things like that people have. And then also on this podcast, I would love for you and I to highlight some of the successes that we see through our profit share course.
Yeah. Well, Lyndon, one of the things I want to really make sure we focus on is I hear a lot from agents today that say like, well, yeah, it's great for Jim and Linda. If I would have gotten here in the early 90s, then my profit share would be, however many millions, right? And I just, we have examples of people who are today doing it a lot faster than you and Jim did. And so I always kind of chuckle when I hear that, because it's just not true. And honestly, it's get tired of hearing it. It's like, we have success stories all around the company of people who are growing their profit share. We'll talk about Nick. Nick's a great example of that. In 3 years, he's over $32,000 in profit share a year. And that's who knows what that'll be this next year. So,
I would say too, as long as someone has a limitation, if you argue for it, you're going to get to keep it. Instead, if you look for a way to have it dispelled, then it loses its power and hold on you, and you might be able to move forward on something. And my question to you is, what if you're wrong? What if you wake up 10 years from now and realize you were wrong? What if you just go for it and say, I'm going to believe, because our profit share keeps growing and being bigger and bigger, there's a big chunk out there with my name on it. And I want to make a real correction, Press. I actually wrote my check to put outside my office to make $1 million in 2010, but it really was about 2015 before we actually hit that million mark. But as you'll see throughout the years, I got a little more serious, a little more dedicated to treating it like a business and putting my visuals up and coming up with a freedom number. And I think all those steps are important. Come up with your freedom number first is what I would say as we wrap up here today. Come up with your freedom number. What's that number that you would need coming in passively, that you worked because you wanted to, not because you had to? That you had the ability to step in some of your life's unexpecteds, like parents getting older with not enough money, siblings getting older with not enough money, sending kids to college, paying your house payment, buying the car you want. Whatever those things are, it's going to start with a freedom number and create that first. And if you would like a form to do that, you can text the words freedom number together as one word to the number 33444 and download our form that we challenge people to use to create that freedom number, and start with that, and then decide how much of it you want to come from real estate investing, how much you want to come from profit share, and then just be relentless about figuring out the pieces in between. This is what I want to have, and this is where I am today. And let's just plug and play those in. And hopefully you and I will help along the journey to do that. And then in our next episode, Press, I'd love for you to speak from the fact that you grew up in our family, because you're our youngest child, watching our family change as our profit share grew. And so let's, in our next episode, kind of introduce you. And when did you decide that you were going to treat profit share like a business like you have? And we'll share that in our episode number 2 of Profit Share Mastery.
Awesome. Love it. Can't wait.
So again, our Profit Share Mastery podcast will drop on the 21st. How appropriate, right? That's when our profit share checks hit our account, on the 21st of each month. And if you'd like us to address any questions or anything you have then just hit those, send those to me at info@lindamckisack.com. We'll try to get those answered on the podcast for you. And if you haven't joined already, Pres, how could they find out more about our Profit Share Mastery course? I know we'll be launching that again, probably in a few more weeks. Our first launch has happened and that group is up and running. How could they find out more if they want to join that?
Yep. If you just go to profitsharemastery.com, you can sign up right there, and that URL will take you exactly where you need to go to join. You can get started on the courses and then join our live group coaching calls.
Yeah. And because we're a new podcast, we'd love for you to share our episodes with anyone that you can think of that might benefit from learning more about how to build wealth through Profit Share. And also if you haven't already, hit subscribe down below, and so you can be notified when our next episode's coming out. So Pres, I'll talk to you on the 21st.
All right. See you then.